will now invite another two speakers for our next presentation, and they are Alexandros Gerontas, a PhD candidate from the University of Macedonia, and Efthymios Tambouris, professor at the University of Macedonia. I'd like to remind all of you also that if you want to ask both of them questions, do not hesitate to use the Slido, either via the QR code or slido.com Endorse 2023. Their presentation will focus on how to use the CPSV AP to publish public service descriptions as linked open data. So welcome to both of you. And Efthymios, I think you're starting?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. First of all, thank you. It's very nice to be here with you. I hope you can hear me properly.
Yes, all fine.
Great. Great, thank you. So this presentation is about publishing descriptions of public services, that is information about public services as linked open data. We want the process to publish public service descriptions as linked open data, but we also want this process to support ad hoc standards like the core public service vocabulary from the European Union. This work is being performed within the InGov project, which is an Horizon 2020 funded research project on the area of electronic government, and actually the presentation is based on a relevant paper written by the same team, Alexander, myself, Konstantina Lazopoulou, and Professor Tarabanis, from University, from University of Macedonia in Thessaloniki, Greece, but also from the Open University in Greece in Patras. So I'll give the floor now to Alexandros, who is going to present the details of this paper. Alexandros.
Thank you, Themis. As Professor Tambouris already said, the research objectives are to devise a process for using core public service vocabulary to model and publish public service descriptions as linked open data, and to employ this process for conducting a pilot implementation in order to evaluate CPSV practical usage. We have conducted a systematic literature review on processes for publishing government linked data. And we have concluded in a process including 7 steps. Step 1, understanding the context, preparation, and public service selection. Step 2, reuse or definition of a URI design policy. Step 3, public service description modeling. Step 4, linked data generation and interlinking. Step 5, linked data validation. Step 6, linked data publication and interlinking as well. Step 7, linked data exploitation. We're going to present each step through our pilot implementation. The context of our pilot implementation is the official public service catalogue of the region of Epirus in Greece, namely the Citizens Guide of the region of Epirus. We have selected 45 public service descriptions based on the following criteria: the popularity of public service, the availability of adequate and reliable information about the public service, and the inclusion of public service chains. In step 2, we defined a URI design policy. We defined specific URI patterns for properties of the public service class of CPSV AP. In case that a property of the public service class acts as a link to another property of CPSV AP, then the URI pattern of that property is also used for the identifier property of the interlinked class. For example, the has input property of the public service class shares the same URI pattern with the identifier property of the evidence class. In step 3, the modeling of the public service descriptions using CPSV AP, we have matched the properties of the public service model of the public service catalog of the region of Cyprus with the properties of CPSV AP model. Based on this matching and the URI design policy that we have defined in the previous step, we made in the following steps the RDFizing the production of the linked dataset, including information about the selected public services. More specifically, also in step 3, we have populated an Excel spreadsheet with information about the selected public services. And then we imported this Excel spreadsheet that has been defined by the European Commission to open refine and using also an RDF extension, we have produced the linked dataset, including information about the selected public services. In step 5, we validated the produced linked dataset using the CPSV AP validator, which is a tool also developed by the European Commission. And in step 6, we uploaded the linked data set into a Virtuoso Universal server, which also provides a Sparkle endpoint. And in this way, we made our linked data set publicly available. We interlinked also our linked data set with DBpedia in order to be able to make federated queries. In the final step, step 7, we exploited our linked dataset in order to acquire information that we couldn't acquire before. We made some Sparkle, for this reason, we made some Sparkle queries. For example, we made a Sparkle query regarding cost and expected processing time of each public service of a thematic category. And the outcome was a list of the cost and the processing time for each public service of that thematic category. Another example is a federated query, Sparkle query between the produced linked dataset and DBpedia in order to identify population and geographical area covered by a public service. The lessons learned include the following: a concrete URI design policy, as well as taxonomies or code lists for the major concepts of public service modeling domain, such as required input documents, should be defined ideally at the European level. The categorization of public services should be also defined ideally at the European level. Such categorization may include elements of public service consumers' profiles, life events, or business events, thematic categories, for example, professional or economic categories, etc. This categorization would also promote user friendliness of the produced public service catalogues and the produced linked dataset. Also, an integrated software tool as well as detailed guidelines supporting and automating as much as possible the entire process of public service descriptions modeling and publishing using CPSV AP might facilitate the adoption of CPSV AP. The proposed process constitutes a potential basis for developing such a tool or issuing relevant guidelines. And finally, our future work include the exploitation of core vocabularies and linked data technology in order to construct a public administration graph as part of linked data global data space, and using this linked data, this public administration graph, we will investigate the added value that could be produced by core vocabularies using linked data as the underpinning technology. For example, we will try to acquire more information that we couldn't before, make visualizations, or develop graphical user interfaces, for example, through chatbots, make a public service federation of public service catalogues, public service portfolio management, knowledge management of public service information. As this public service graph may also include information about public organizations as well as public service descriptions, and also make comparative review between public service descriptions, between public service catalogues, analysis, and collaborative continuous improvement of public services. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much to both of you. And in the meantime, we have received questions, so that's great because we have time, or you have time to answer them. The first one is actually pretty straightforward. Can you share the link to the Sparkle endpoint, or if not, where is it available?
Right, yes, thank you for the question. The link is available into the journal article that our research is analytically, or we can also share the link in any way. We can send it directly via email, or make available, or we can include it also to the presentation. Yes,
Good.
we can share the link.
Yes. Yes. If you make it, if you add it to the presentation, then when the presentations are made available, then everybody can access it. Thank you for that. The next question is: the development of an integrated software tool is mentioned. Now, do you think we could use or reuse existing semantic technologies or tools?
Yeah, I don't know if Professor Simons-Tambouris want to add, or?
Yes, well, certainly yes. I mean, the answer would be certainly yes. We haven't explored further this direction, so we cannot provide like concrete examples on best cases on that. But I would say yes. I don't see any reason why not. I mean, the requirements are straightforward for RDFizing. What we need is to customize them in order to produce CPSV AP compliant output. That's the main addition, I would say.
Thank you. And then another question. Could you elaborate a little more on how much efforts are needed for the pilot, for example, in linked data exploitation?
Yeah, the effort is quite significant because we had to find a new path in each step. For example, we had to define a URI design policy there are guidelines for defining URI design policy, but there's not one at the moment, especially for public service description. So we had to define a URI design policy, which is very important in for making the linked data set. And also we have to remove any obstacles that that we find in each step. For example, some minor problems in RDFizing. And also the information that we extracted from the public service catalog of the region of Epirus has to be made very carefully, because the information, the structure of the information actually could not be matched directly to CPSV AP model. So yes, the effort is I think that it's significant.
Thank you very much. Thanks to both of you for joining us this afternoon and answering those questions. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.